This is a review of the K-Line Springfield, now featuring K-Line's in-house pickups. They offer a few different models of pickups. These are their 64s. For those new to my channel, I primarily do amplifier repair and restoration, so the guitar reviews are kind of rare, but I'm glad to say well received. Now, I don't get paid to do reviews. I'm not one of those channels. I don't get paid. I don't take products for free. I'm not compensated in any way. The manufacturer, if it applies, has no input into the video. Most of my reviews are either guitars I've purchased and used, or guitars belonging to clients. In this case, Chris at K-Line reached out to me to see if I'd be interested in reviewing one of his guitars with the new K-Line pickups. Like I said, I'm not being compensated, and I'll be returning the guitar to K-Line after doing this review. Or will I? Stay tuned. As far as basic specs go, I'm not going to read their website to you. Link to their options page in the description below, you can see all that good stuff. But instead, I'll discuss the stuff that may not be obvious, such as the body, which is roasted pine, and the entire weight of the guitar is just barely over 6 pounds, which is amazingly lightweight, but the guitar still balances well on a strap with no neck dive. As far as the sound goes, in my opinion, it sounds like a very old alder body, something often found in well-played examples of early 60s Fenders that have lost most of the moisture from the wood. I talked with Chris about this, and while he still offers ash and alder, he says that as the old-growth forest supply is gone, the traditional guitar hardwoods available today just don't have the same qualities as those used in Fullerton and Kalamazoo 60 years ago. So he's been experimenting with other wood varieties like roasted pine. Now, my goal is not to get you to buy this guitar or to buy a different guitar, or to buy anything, just to give you a sense of how the guitar is built, how it feels, how it can sound, and whether you might want to check one out for yourself. You should try any guitar in person whenever possible, and not make decisions based solely on any review on the internet, including this one. This guitar's neck is maple with a slab rosewood board with clay dots, with a thinnish C profile, like about a 63 Fender, and about 0.83 inches at the first fret, which is a good bit thinner than my usual preference, but it's extremely comfortable. It has a 10-inch radius, which some find too flat, but I love how it handles chords and bends equally well, with no choking on big bends. And if you want 7 1/4, they'll do that. If you want 16, they'll do that, and everything in between. They'll also do a much thicker neck profile, different neck profiles, etc. See their website. The frets are nickel silver 6125s, and they're dressed and finished extremely well. They offer a wide playing surface, but at the cost of feeling the smooth fret ends, versus very round domed fret ends that sacrifice some playing area. Every player is going to have a different preference. This is one of the good options. The edges of the fingerboard are rounded over and very comfortable, and I didn't find any tool marks, etc. on the rosewood board. Are you listening, Gibson? K-Line uses a very slightly sloped neck pocket for their preferred neck angle, and while I don't have the means to measure it, it's very subtle, not really visible to the eye, but the guitar plays well all up the neck, so I guess they're onto something. The 1.65-inch bone nut is cut very well with correct witness points and no excessive height that can cause intonation issues at the first frets. I added some nut sauce to the slots and to the string tree, and I've had very stable tuning even with more than subtle vibrato use. The tuners are non-locking vintage-style Gotohs, and they perform excellently. On this example, they're aged, but it doesn't affect how they work. No tuning issues if you string them correctly. And unlike a lot of production line guitars, all the tuner screws were tight. The neck is unfigured flat sawn maple, and the grain is really pretty with a very nice satin finish. The relicking of the body does not extend to the neck, which I appreciate. Speaking of the relic finish on the body, K-Line offers different options from new to medium relic. This one is lightly relic, and while I'm usually not on board the relic train, they did a very nice job of making it look realistic and not over the top or obviously fake. On that note, they only send out their relic guitars for demos and reviews, as it means the reviewer won't ruin a brand new finish. While I've babied it, this still has taken some weight off my mind. No, oops, I bought it dread. But if you want a brand new one, they'll make you a brand new one. This finish is charcoal frost metallic in nitro, and it looks lovely in person. Subtle, but lovely. And this is coming from a sunburst guy. You can even see the grain telegraphing subtly through the body finish in certain lights, though I've been unable to capture that with my camera. The bridge is an excellent choice, the Wilkinson WV6BS-SB, which I hadn't tried before. It has a nice push-in bar, and while it's not home base for me like the 64 bar on my Callaham, it's very comfortable and easy to use, much nicer than the bar on my Gotoh 510. But where it really shines is the lack of extra witness points, which is a very common problem on similar vintage-style vibrato bridges. On this example, an 83 Fender, the string contacts the saddle here, 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 and here. Each of these points is an additional witness point that can and does throw off tuning stability. My Gotoh 510 has longer slots in the saddles and only has extra witness points here and here. I need to fix that. On my Callaham, I used a Dremel to elongate the slots on the G and low E string, but I need to remove a bit more on the low E. There's still one right there. On the Wilkinson, there are no extra witness points. That's a really big deal for tuning stability. They do this by staggering the string hole locations. Simple, smart. So many other companies should have thought of that. The bridge was installed correctly, with the outer 2 screws being the true pivots, and the inner 4 screws being there for reinforcement. This is how all 6 saddle vibrato bridges should be mounted for fewer points of friction. Very nice to see it done by the builder. There's a small Allen screw on the vibrato block that adjusts the tension of the arm, though I was quite pleased with how K-Line set it, but it's there if you want the bar swinging loose or fixed in position. Inside the guitar, the wiring is quite nice, if not as pretty as some. Still much better than the rat's nest all too many guitars have inside. It's cloth-covered wires, CTS pots, good quality switch, orange drop tone cap, it's 47 nanofarad for those who are curious, and crucially, good solder joints throughout. And I am a solder joint snob. The jack is a switchcraft and has the proper toothed washer installed. It's solid. The back of the pick guard has foil for partial shielding, but the control cavity isn't shielded. While I prefer shielding, K-Line is making this like they did in Fullerton, so this is vintage correct. No special access to the truss rod nut. You do have to remove the neck to adjust this. Again, just like Fullerton and not a deal breaker for most of us, it's a stable neck, so this is probably a winter-summer adjustment for most. Before I restrung the guitar, I wanted to let you see how nice the rosewood on the fretboard is. The one thing I can't tell you is how it sounds. You'll have to judge that for yourself. So I'm going to turn you over for a bit to Logan Hanna, plugged straight into a restored 65 Super Reverb. Me again. Sorry to interrupt, but I thought you'd want to know that while this video features the K-line by itself, a second upcoming video will compare the K-line to an 83 Strat with Fralins and a Nash with Lawlers into two different amps, so you'll have more to go on after that, including more pickup positions and higher gain amp settings. I guess it's time to wrap this one up. To be honest, when I first played the guitar, I thought it's another well-made Strat copy, but I've played lots of them. It's really light, but other than that, it's just a good guitar, nothing special. Then I played it, almost exclusively, for over a month, through multiple amplifiers. You know the phrase, greater than the sum of its parts? This isn't my preferred neck profile. This isn't how I'd spec a custom order guitar. I'm a Sunburst guy. I've always kind of made fun of relic guitars. But it feels so right now. It's not a sexy looking guitar with flamed this and figured that, but then neither am I. This is a jeans and a t-shirt guitar that just so happens to play fantastically and sounds exactly like I want an S-shaped object to sound, especially for my main goal, which is to show what amplifiers sound like. So I'm not sure if this guitar is going back to St. Louis. Ramen is tasty. Look for part 2, and until then, thanks for watching.